with all the cast, all 9 cast members of the Rob Zombie 31. And went to a couple of them, said, hey, I know you don't remember me because you go to all these cons, but we took a selfie and me in the Michael Myers mask, in California at Son of Monster Palooza. And surprisingly, 2 of them did. They're like, oh my God, yeah, I remember you because, yeah, the Michael Myers taking a selfie and a couple of them doing photo bombs in the selfie. And I thought that was like kind of cool that they kind of remembered. I mean, I like to give people the shadow of doubt, like, okay, yes, I remembered you. After Days of the Dead, I think it was a couple of years later, Days of the Dead returned. So that was my very first cosplay. I saw that Sid was going to be there, Bill Forte was going to be there, Sid, Bill, Kane Hodder, Royce, or can't remember his name. He's from Dukes of Hazzard, like Luke Duke, something of that nature was going to be there. PJ Souls was going to be there again. A whole bunch of, like, several people was, I thought it was like really cool, but I dressed up like Captain Spaulding. Really, really nervous because I wanted it authentic. I wanted it to be real. And, have Sid go, holy shit, that's an awesome ass costume, man. Or, something to that nature. And I was like really, really nervous from trying to get the look right, especially for paint. Paint the face. My beard at the time was like down, down too. So I had that going. Also, if you want to look through my photos. It's somewhere on there on my Instagram account. Me and Sid sitting together. My heart was racing because I didn't know what to expect from people. It was my very first experience as far as being a cosplay. I had no idea what was going to happen. It was a weird turn of event because it was at the Marriott at LAX. So had to go and I drove down to a place. I went to go take a bus. The bus took me to LAX, and I got on a shuttle of their hotel. Found out it was the hotel, and the people at LAX were kind of like looking at me funny. I was dressed like Captain Spaulding. So, except I had regular clothes on, I just had the American Sam type outfit that he wore in the Murder Ride. Didn't have the top hat though, but the face was painted and everything. So I was kind of like, oh gosh, and everyone's kind of like looking at me like there's this crazy looking clown that's getting on a bus. Go in there, paid, and I thought it was legit. I thought it was like really cool. I was really nervous. The anxiety picked up. My body was shaking. I had no idea to what to expect. People put you under a microscope, I feel, sometimes when you cosplay. It's either you do it right or you don't do it right. They have their own opinions. A couple of times, some people, they recognize me. I wasn't a familiar face because of Captain Spaulding. I wasn't Michael Myers or anything like that. Michael, I didn't cosplay Michael till probably 3 years ago or so. I think I picked up the Trick or Treat H2 mask up and started cosplaying as him. That was at Son of Monster Palooza, I believe. And then I think it was at Son of Monster Palooza. I showed up as Michael, and people, they flocked. They thought it was like the coolest thing. The anxiety was there. I didn't know what to expect. A lot of times you don't. I still get serious anxiety. I still get doubts in my head when people talk shit about you, and they're out in they're out in regular clothes, but they're willing to go ahead and throw their 2 cents of commentary in there. and say, laugh at you or smile at you and go, oh gosh, I can't believe that you did that. When I bought the mask a couple of years ago at Son of Monsterpalooza, the last year, I bought it last year, and then went to a reanimator type of forum that they had there for Reanimator, and they had the cast up there. So I was like, I'm gonna go take a break. No one's gonna go to Reanimator really. So took the mask off and breathed, and they had left. So when I was like leaving, I put the mask back on, showing and be like, hey, that'd be kind of cool. People like coming out of nowhere, and then Michael Myers is coming out, and it's like, holy, wow, look at that. Some guy gave his opinion and pointed at me while I'm like looking, and I mean it's the as far as like the eyes, you can't see the my eyes because I blacked it out for a reason, because he has the devil's eyes and the blackest eyes. So the he had his own comment, and it hurt. It was like, why bother putting putting this on? Why bother doing this? What's the point in doing it? And it hurt because of that guy's opinion. It sucked. The anxiety kind of went up a little bit. The social anxiety, the heart races, especially when the doors are opening and you're there, or I'm going to the event. I have to breathe. That's one thing you have to do. If you have anxiety, if you have social anxiety and you don't know about if you should cosplay, do it. Just breathe as much as you can and say, you know what, I'm doing this because you like to do it, because you want to do it, and you say you see other people doing it and you say, I would like to do it. I recommend you doing it, regardless if it's a horror con, a comic con, a anime con, any type of function that you see, any type of a cosplay opportunity, you should do it. There's no reason why that you shouldn't. I'm prime example the reason why there should be no reason that you should, due to the fact that I have all those symptoms, and it sucks because even on Instagram, somebody will go and sit there and say, oh, I don't like your shit, or I don't like your stuff, and it hurts because it's like, why? And I've talked to several people and asked the reason why should I post for the month of almost the month of November. I kind of like looked, and I didn't post for 5. I posted like 5 pictures for the month of November or something like that, because I felt like, who's gonna notice if I'm gone? Who's gonna notice that I'm not posting? Because of the depression that gets into you, because my brain sets me up almost for failure, almost, because I look at the people that I follow. I like the people that I follow. I hit the like button for a reason. I just don't go and like, hell yeah, this guy. I just don't follow this guy just to follow this guy. I don't even follow celebrities because they're not going to follow me, and I think that they don't care what I gotta say. Even if I put a comment, they're not going to care what I'm going to say, and then it's going to get drowned out with like 15 other 100 comments that's going to be on there, regardless of the fact. I understand that a lot of people are away from social media. I understand that a lot of people don't consider themselves, that they should, like everything. I'm not asking for people to like everything that I like, but it hurts, especially when the fact that you have depression, because you set your because I'm not going to put my depression compared to everybody else's depression. My depression is totally different than everybody else's. So when I put out a photo, I'm like, is this good enough? Is this quality enough? Is this fine? And then something in the back of my head says, no, it's not. Take it down. What's the point? What's the point in posting something up there that no one or several people are going to give 2 cents about, but nobody else will? Do I stop following those people because they don't like what I post and I like what they post? I've done it before, and it's part of the process. Like, why don't and I understand that people, you can't please everybody in this world. I understand that. I understand the fact that things things that you do, not everybody's going to be a fan of. Somebody commented on one of my takes is the fact of, I'm kind of like a Michael Myers fan page. I agree. It's more of a cosplay Michael Myers fan page as well as a fan page, but I do put my other things on there that are that are part sort of my life. I don't post everything that is part of my life due to the fact that I feel like nobody would care. Like, who cares? Like, who's gonna care that I went to the movies? Who's gonna care that I did this? Who's gonna care that I did that? Everybody has their own personal life. I like to look at other people and find out like what they're doing. Like, for example, like they went to Universal Studios, they went to Halloween Horror Nights, they went to Disneyland. I think that's cool. They get out and they do that type of stuff. I'm happy that they do that stuff. I find it very interesting that they do because it's like, oh, they went to so and so. That's very cool. To other, to myself and my self doubt, I look at it as like, who's gonna care if I do that? So it's just part of the depression that builds up inside as part of the anxiety. It's the so I'm kind of getting off track. I apologize, but as far as the Michael Myers cosplay, I love doing Michael Myers. I love doing the Michael Myers cosplay. I think the reason why is because I've had people like come up to me and saying, "You're a freaking awesome Michael Myers. That is purely awesome on how you do it." I think of new ways on killing people, not in real life, but pretend cosplay, photo op, per se. In fact, it was at Scare LA. I was with the pumpkin, and some group of people asked me to go and be in their photo. So I was in their photo, and I was going to leave when they were leaving, and then all of a sudden I was there for about like 15, 20 minutes. And some people were asking me if I charge, am I part of the fee for Scare LA to get a picture with them? And I said, no, I'm just standing here. People are just coming here to take a picture, with me as Michael, and me just standing there posing. I like wearing the mask because they can't see exactly how I'm reacting. I get nervous walking around. I'm faded, as the vision in the mask isn't 100%. It is better than the Kylo Ren mask I also cosplay as well, because that one you barely can see and you kind of have to move your head around. This one, it's kind of like, okay, I can kind of look and you kind of can see, except for I try to watch for little kids or steps or something, table. A lot of people has complimented me on the fact of my height, my build as far as Michael goes. My I'm very humble. I'm very honored. I'm very happy that they can give me compliments as far as it living up to it. When they go to a horror con, or even there was one. It was called Spook Show. It's kind of like a merchant type thing. It's out in California. That was like almost like my first styled the hair, made sure everything was perfect. Let's go out as Michael. I heard it's a horror type thing, and they have like Halloween vendors and stuff. It's kind of like a small type thing. It's called Spook Show. So I went there as Michael, and everyone complimented me, gave me huge compliments, wanted to take pictures with me, take pictures of me, have me walk around, do photo ops with people, with their kids and their family. I'm very, very grateful and honored and happy that I can do that. I'm glad that they look at this mask and look at the person that's just walking around and saying, oh, that's kind of cool. Let's get a picture with them. Anybody can be Michael Myers. Anybody can put this mask on and say, hey, I'm Michael Myers and I'm going to a cosplay. And I'm going to a horror convention. And I've seen horror conventions. I've searched them. I looked around. I've seen them on YouTube. Several people are Michael Myers. A lot of people are very good at it. I admit that they're very well done. The masks are awesome. I also kind of get depressed and a letdown. It's because of me. It's not because of anything else. It's not because of other people. It's not because of the event. It's the event that I know that something's going to happen. But if I see another Michael Myers, I kind of get disappointed in a way, which it might kind of sound stupid. But I kind of feel like there's one Michael Myers. I'm already here, or he's here, and then so I kind of consider it almost like a challenge, a challenge of the fact of I'm gonna up my game as Michael. The anxiety is gone. My advice, if you have anxiety and you cosplay and stuff like that, go to the vendors and look around and then forget that you're, because that's how I sort of do it. I go and look at the t-shirts, I go look at the drawing, at the artwork, I go and look at whatever vendors that they have there. It takes my mind off the fact that almost that I'm in a cosplay, other than the fact it's like, oh, look, hey, it's Michael Myers visiting on our table, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I'm dressed like Michael. So that kind of helps a little bit if you go to the vendors and you take your take your mind off of it, because if you go to the vendors, you'll see stuff that you're actually interested in. You'll see a drawing that you might be interested in and want to purchase. That'll take your mind off, possibly take your mind off the fact that you're cosplaying. It does me, doesn't mean necessarily for you. I'm hoping it would be, but you never know. The fact of I've gone to about four conventions as Michael Myers. It adds confidence in a way, but it also adds a lot of stress as far as the my anxiety a little bit. It's kind of like a conflict. It's like I want to go, I need to go, because I want to see the people that are there. I want to interact into the people that's known as the horror community, the monster community, the people who like horror films as much as I do. So it's kind of like a safe haven, because they don't exactly judge you by who you are and stuff like that, and by the way that you dress. If you dress like off the wall, for example, I was a quote unquote Kylo Myers. I had the Kylo Ren outfit out, including the lightsaber, but I had the Michael Myers mask on underneath the hood. I took that to almost 2 years ago at Monster Palooza out in California, Pasadena, and that got mixed reviews. I was kind of the anxiety for me is when I I leave the base of of the the protective shell, let's say, of my car or somewhere, and I'm gonna go and put on the mask, and people are gonna see exactly like how I am, and I'm going there to dress up and stuff. That was the hardest one. I think that was the hardest and most disappointing one was the Kylo Myers. People didn't take that very well. They were saying what the f, and this is that's kind of stupid. That's lame, and they didn't know exactly what to do with it. I need to point out I forgot that was at one of the Days of the Dead before the one at Monster Palooza. That was like a month before or a couple of weeks before the month of Monster Palooza. But I wanted to show it off because Star Wars just came out, and I thought to myself, why not make a scene where you could interact horror into sci-fi. And what happens if, I mean, Jason went to space, and Jason X, why not Michael Myers go into the Star Wars universe? What would it have been like? And a lot of people didn't take part in it. They said, "What the f is that?" WTF? What's the point? The I I I I turned around and I said, I'll never do it again because it was just so much strain and so much. It caused almost serious depression issue because of what people wanted to give their 2 cents worth and saying, even though at that Days of the Dead convention that I premiered it, several people gave compliments to it. They said it looks awesome. It looks great. It's fabulous. But then again, it's the ones that will give you the negativity will stick in your head the entire time, and that's what hurts. You just constantly would probably have to shake it off.